This is my next. There are many like it, but this is my own. Yes, my next has finally arrived. This is the accelerated version. And no, I've not gone Full Metal Jacket as of yet, even though after a few weeks of semi-lockdown, it's not quite a proper lockdown, after semi-lockdown, I'm going a little bit stir-crazy perhaps. Not feeling too well with what's going on out there, but anyway, stay safe and all the rest of that. So this is my accelerated next, and in this first video I'm just going to show you a bit of the machine itself. I'm not actually even going to switch it on in this video. It's just kind of a sort of introduction to basically what you get in the package, because a second Kickstarter will be around the corner in due course. Obviously it's going to be slightly delayed due to what's going on at the moment, but what I wanted to do first of all, I'll show just what's arrived, and initially I just wanted to give a bit of a talk about what ZX Spectrum means to me. But before I do that, I will just put this down because quite honestly it's a decent weight, it's a very nice weight, but I'm going to end up just dropping it probably because it's just sort of resting against my breastplate. Oh dear, I said breast. Okay, so I got my first and only ZX Spectrum, a 48K model, thanks to my granddad. This must have been in 1984, I'm thinking 84, possibly into 85, although just on a time frame basis I would plump for 84. If I could go back in time to that day, I could certainly tell myself to make look after it better, basically, and do not sell it when you come to do so, but I'll get onto that later. So it's been almost 11 years since my granddad died, and he worked for Century Hutchinson Publishing, who basically they were given a 48K ZX Spectrum each, because the idea was they were going to connect to the office from home via something like the Prestel service, I imagine. And how that was going to work, I don't exactly know, but they're all given these 48K Spectrums. And then whatever happened, as is the way in business, it just didn't happen. And so he had nothing he needed to do with it, and he had no interest in the Spectrum or sort of any computer whatsoever. But he knew someone who did, which was me. I think I did have my BBC Model B at that point, which was 32K, and I did enjoy playing with that. I think I had that at the time. A lot sort of happens when you're a kid, and you grow up fast, and the years just... Quite often the time is, a lot of things feel very individual, but then the time just does go so fast. I know I can certainly pinpoint a lot of different times in my formative years than I can after growing up and leaving university, because then you get a job, and quite frankly when you reach working age, every day just meshes into another. So I hooked it up, and I'd like to say that every single game I played on it was an original bought copy, but it wasn't. I'm not going to kid anyone. At school we swapped tapes, we copied tapes. They're even sort of the equivalent of magazine versions of online forums and sort of sale or swaps sections of magazines, which came out monthly. Imagine having to wait monthly for news about something. Blimey. And people were offering games on there, and you kind of knew what was going on. People were swapping copies of games, and if I had the money, God, I'd love to have gone out and bought them all, because especially like, for example, the Ultimate Play the Game games, they were just, the boxes were amazing, the look of the games were amazing, and because they're around double the size of a regular cassette tape, it was, it stood out. It was really, really nice. You knew you were getting a premium product. Of course, you'd pay a bit extra for that. You'd probably pay around about £10 instead of $5.99, but it was something. There was something really special about those. And even when you did try and buy something, you take it home. I'd get the bus all the way into Stockport. I'd go into Boots, go up to the computer games counter, pick up a game, buy it, take it home. Sometimes it would not load in, whatever you tried. And then all you could do after that was get the bus back into Stockport, which is right pain when you have to make sure you're going to do this on Saturday morning, get down there in the first place, because if you had to be going back, you wanted to get it all done in the space of a day, otherwise you'd be going down 1 week from now, because Sunday all the shops were shut. Yeah, remember that, Sunday closing. All the shops were shut, And he certainly couldn't go Monday to Friday because he had that bloody school thing to put up with. And even when he did go back into the shop, there was one particular guy, I can still picture his face in my mind. Absolutely. That's like 1985, I remember him. And he's had like a sort of sharp suit on, sort of coiffured hair and a little moustache. He thought he was frigging Don Johnson with a moustache. I mean, Don Johnson, I think he was he clean shaven in Miami Vice? But, I mean, Don Johnson, he still rocks today. But at the very least he had, the sort of the bum fluff on his face. But this guy was an absolute, I can't even say the word. But if the game didn't work at home, you'd take it all the way back to the shop. They would try it in their machine. If it worked in their machine, it's not like nowadays. If it works in their machine, they wouldn't let you have a refund. No refund, no store credit, no nothing. You had to take it home. You'd bought it, you were keeping it. They weren't interested in giving you a refund. You were a kid. You had no rights whatsoever. He was a horrible little man. He'll almost certainly be retired now, and God knows went through his tiny mind at the time. But for games in general, there would be obviously individual tapes. You'd have people putting tons and tons of games onto a single tape, both sides of a C90, usually taking around I don't know how long, around 5 minutes, sometimes less, for a game to actually load in, and then you get the R-tape loading errors and you have to start all over again. And I used to think, I remember at the time, that's an awful long time for a game to take to load in. I also remember, there were shorter ones. I remember Arcadia, very simple shoot 'em up, really good. That took 1 minute 20 seconds to load on the ZX Spectrum. And I remember seeing it once load on a Commodore 64. I never had one of those at the time. Obviously I've got the C64 Mini and the new C64. But Arcadia from tape on a Commodore 64 took 18 minutes to load in. 18 minutes. Can you imagine waiting all that time? And then later on, with the BBC Model B, I had Elite, and on a tape that took 6 minutes 50 seconds, and then later on I got the disc version when I got a disc drive for it. That took 10 seconds. 10 seconds to load a brilliant game like that. And you think, we were never going back to those days of games taking forever to load in. And then I got Dakar 18, the rally game. It was a really, really bad rally game. Got it for the Xbox One. I remember trying to get it for review from the PR company, and they didn't have any review codes left, so they sent out a disc. The disc came, I put it in the Xbox, and it had the exact same experience I once read from someone who bought Mortal Kombat, whatever it was at the time, on the PC a couple of years earlier. And basically, the only thing that was on the disc was a client, tiny little program, a client to download the game. So you put the disc in, and it sort of connects to online, and it said, now downloading 50 gigabytes of data. How long is that going to take? About 20 minutes. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. That's basically what I'm saying. And I had many years of fun with that machine. 1987 I remember buying, in fact September 1987 I remember buying, was it November? Possibly November, buying an Atari ST 520 STFM. Loved that machine as well. My first experience of using a mouse on a machine that I actually owned. I had used one before on a friend's Apple Lisa. And when I went around their house one Saturday and saw their Apple Lisa and wanted to have a play on it, loved it, loved the mouse idea, and I thought, this is brilliant. I'm going to come here every single Saturday and play on this machine. Yeah, you guessed it. That was the one and only time I went to their house. Weird, eh? But all things come to an end, and I think this must have been in 1990, before I started uni. I sold it because I didn't think I'd be using it anymore. Obviously 30 years on, or nearly, God, we are on 30 years on. Jesus. 30 years on, I kind of wish I kept it. I mean, quite honestly, I wish I had lots of retro consoles, but I'll never end up getting around to using them all. I've certainly not got any room to put them all up and have them all instantly accessible. That's not a given, even if you have them all connected up to one TV. So much of a faff to go on there, which is why, quite frankly, I'm glad, given that HDMI is a standard at the moment, I'm quite glad that the ZX Spectrum Next has an HDMI port, because it's like even the time when I bought an Atari VCS 2600 from eBay quite some years ago, I had to plug it through the aerial, the RF aerial on the back of the TV. And that was, the graphics aren't as great, and quite frankly, the whole hassle of the setup. I'll just use an emulator now. It's just so much easier, especially when the alternative is trying to get a million different cables to try and synchronize it up with a device, which you'll eventually connect up to your PC, or I will connect up, like with this ZX Spectrum Next, I will connect it up to the PC with an Elgato HT60S capture card, and so ultimately it'll be coming out the PC in that respect. How much did I sell my ZX Spectrum for? There was a Spectrum plus a ton of games, £40. I'd happily pay double just to have it back, but I know it'll be landfill long gone by now. Not quite sure how much of this will be entirely 100% in focus, but let's just give it a go anyway. You got the 4 colours there, the red, yellow, green and blue. Basically 1 megabyte of memory there. I wasn't sure whether, I know the goals increase, so I need to check the page. I wasn't sure whether, I mean it is expandable to 2 megabytes. I wasn't sure whether that came as standard now. It has been a bit of a while since I actually looked at the page. Turn it around again, ZX Spectrum Next, personal computer, the Sinclair branding there. And the exact same thing. The colour, I hadn't turned it around the wrong way. The colours and the 124 KB there. And with a nice blue tone there. ZX Spectrum Next, personal computer and the Sinclair. So whereas it was black and then a little bit of blue at the bottom, it's now blue and a little bit of black there. That's lovely. And then we get to the back. Obviously it's sort of mostly blue, and it won't be easy to read, but it says, "Prepare to fall in love with the computer all over again." The ZX Spectrum Next is the evolution of the original Sinclair 8-bit computer that kick-started a generation of bedroom coders whose games shape the way we play to this day. It's fully compatible with the ZX Spectrum, including its younger siblings such as the 128, the Plus 2 and the Plus 3. You can even load your own tapes, and I have seen there's an emulator where you can load in games as tapes, so you can just sit there watching the whole thing load in as if you were playing it off a real tape. Anyway, I do have a tape machine somewhere actually, so I may give that a go. I do want to make some more videos of this and see where we go from there. If you enjoy them, let me know. If there's anything you want me to look at specifically, let me know in the comments below. It says, built from scratch with the dedicated hardware, the ZX Spectrum Next boasts added features that makes the original games playing the original games a breeze, and opens the door for brand new titles, taking advantage of its improvements such as better audio, more colours, larger memory and a faster processor. And there's a whole list of various bits and pieces, hardware specs there. I might take a picture of that and just show up on the screen. It'll be damn sight easier than just reading the whole thing out. And then we've got some of the exclusive games that come with it. Dreamworld, Pogi, got that pronounced right, Dungeonette, No Mercy, Quakestar, Lords of Midnight and a couple of others. So there we go, we've got the keyboard there obviously, and it does feel lovely. It is a thing of beauty. It is worth waiting for. I mean, I'd love to have been one of the first to have had one of these, but to do that you'd have been paying a pretty penny, or alternatively, as it turned out, you'd be having one of the lower tiers and having to sort of increase things yourself, opening it up and things like that. I'm not going to be one to open this up, quite frankly, if I can avoid it, because I have no idea about those sorts of things. It'd be the kind of thing where you'd open it up and you'd never get it back together again. This is the front of the machine. How clear this comes across, I don't know, but you've got 2 joystick ports. Quite frankly, I'd rather have had the 2 joystick ports on the back. I thought they were going to be put on the back, quite frankly. Okay, so things like the Atari, I know you get some games consoles anyway, which do have the ports at the front. it is what it is. I mean, the back is pretty crowded, quite frankly. So maybe that's why they went on the front. It was just for ease of use. No doubt you can get joystick extenders anyway, male to female extenders, so that you can put the extenders in here. I'm sure they'll be on eBay, and then you can plug your joysticks into the extenders, and that way it just saves the ports. Saves the wear and tear on the ports. Around the side we've got. I mean, I'll be honest. I've not looked in the manual as of yet. I will bring that out shortly. So I don't know what all these buttons do. NMI. There's a reset switch, obviously, when you want to reset the machine, because there's actually no on-off button on this. You can buy them separately. I did see there is a website where you can buy it for £2.15, I think, if you want a black one, but then the postage was like £3.20, so it's rather more than doubles the price. So I've not bought one as of yet. And there's a button for drive when you need more drive. Maybe. Then there's the SD card, which it would have been nice if you could sort of press the card in and then that makes it come out. But at least you get a card with it anyway. No idea how big the size of the card is. Not looked that far. But anyway, at least it's better that it comes with one than doesn't. Because a number of times you buy something like the camera, even that I'm using now, and can't get the damn thing back in. And you buy something and it doesn't come with a card, and then you want to start using your camera and you can't use your camera because you've got to wait another couple of days for the flipping card to arrive. The other long side, there's obviously nothing there because that's where the colours are. And here's where the back is. Very kind of busy. We've got from, let's go left to right. We have got the actual power supply there. We've got DC 9-volt power supply. I think, can you power it by USB? I'll soon find out. Anyway, I've got two USB ports, micro USB I think they are, a digital video debug port, whatever that is. I'm sure someone will correct me. Digital video, so that's your HDMI port. There's your ear mic and audio out cables, so yeah, no doubt you can connect up your tape machine there and connect it in. You can also output via RGB and VGA modes, that's great. Use a sort of a normal PS2 keyboard and mouse with those. Quite frankly, I would rather just use a USB mouse and keyboard. When we're talking about keyboard, I've got the keyboard on here. USB mouse, that's all I need, that'd be fine. There is a little, I'm not going to open it up, there's like a little sort of, not quite sure how well that comes across, but a little external port thing you can take out and open up. I'm not going to do that just now because I don't want to give it too much force and then it all breaks, quite frankly. So I'll take the lid off the box and I'll show the box more than I will my face. The two things I'm holding up, so left and right, are the little sort of foam inserts, which I think were put in. And this is one of the good things about getting my Nex later than other people did, was because they did have our problems with the shipping, and some Nex lost their keys, and as a result of these foam inserts, it made things easier for them. So that's a good thing, and so it didn't move about so much in transit. So that's good. Only one slight issue, and if it's not clear enough, which it probably won't be, I will use the. I've taken a screenshot of this, a picture rather. So I'll just show that. But there's a little bit of a tear on this side, just in the cardboard. It's nothing to write home about, quite frankly. And if I did write home, the post is taking forever at the moment. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that at all. As long as the machine works, I'd be happy. Okay, so in the box there is like a sort of little power plug thing, which is, yeah, it's a kind of standard thing you get these days. It allows it to fit plugs all over the world. It has the basic 9-pin affair, 9-volt pin rather, affair that will plug into your Next, and then this is one of those sort of, now I'll drop everything. It's one of those interchangeable affairs where you'll that's a UK plug, for example, and there's ones for like a US plug and things like that. And what was that US plug? There's various different ones. There's loads of these things in here, and so that covers everyone. And last but not least, we have the manual, and I will go through it all. Well, not all of it, perhaps. I'll go through it and just sort of get more of an idea of what things do and how it looks, and just try and get an idea, especially of some of those buttons on the side, and see what they do, since I have absolutely no idea. But it does look lovely. Okay, so that's a brief look at the machine for now. So I will be making some more videos soon, so anything you want to know or want me to have a crack at, let me know in the comments below. I'm just going to sort of see how we go with this basically. I've not got any sort of fixed plans as to how to deal with it, but just gonna see what I can see. Or as one guy used to know said, just suck it and see. I mean, see what happens, not anything dodgy, you know. But that keyboard is lovely. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Please like this video and share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the little bell to get all the notifications. Stay safe and cue Genesis.